So, Fan Control Football League, already using blockchain in a meaningful way. What Fan Control Football League, and Patrick will tell you in more detail, it's literally like your dream. You control every aspect of a football team. Who's the coach, the plays that they run, the defense that they run, and the fans control it all. And they've been using blockchain and voting in order to manage that for a legitimate reason that I'm sure Patrick will go into more detail about. So we have Patrick Dees, the co-founder of the Fan Control Football League. This is one of the most interesting and fun use cases that you'll see at the entire conference. Patrick.
X gon' give it to you. Wait for you to get it on your own. X gon' deliver to you. Knock, knock, open up the door and
Hey guys, how are we? That's quite an intro, I tell you what. First of all, I need the lights to be any brighter. I don't think I'm reflecting enough to this front row. I can't see anybody. So I'm a pretty animated guy. I'm gonna ask, since I can't see you, normally I do the whole show of hands, but I'm gonna ask you to clap for some things when I ask some questions. But first of all, can I get a quick, the lights are fine. I was kind of just joking about the lights. Okay, as they're like bringing them up a little bit. Can I get another round of applause quickly for Stephanie and the team back there? They're putting together an amazing show. Chris, this has been awesome. So I literally have been lucky enough over the past year to speak all over the globe, and I think that was easily the best intro I've ever had, so thank you, Chris. Guys, my name's Patrick Dees. I'm the co-founder and chief gaming officer of the Fan Control Football League. We're gonna get to all of that in a minute, but first of all, I want to talk about that intro. It's going. There it is. So I came out to DMX. I don't know if I look like a guy who could rock DMX normally. This was actually, I got an email about a week ago that asked me what song do I want to come on stage to. And as a sports fan, I lost my mind. They were telling me backstage I was one of the very few people that even responded to that. But to me, this was like a monument. This is the biggest thing that has ever happened to me. Like I said, I've been all over the globe. When do you get to choose your intro music? As a child, I was like, when I play in the NBA, I lived 5 or 6 options at the drop of a hat. So I was going to take this very seriously. So I told my co-founders, what are we coming out to? What are we coming out to? I don't think I would have immediately gone with DMX. But true to what we were doing, we put it to the fans. You see some of the other ones that came up on the list. This was actually the final 4. We got hundreds and hundreds of suggestions. All were pretty great. If you guys can see, Like a Virgin almost won, which I think I could have rocked. But anyway, so those of you wondering why that guy came out to DMX, fans chose it. And we're going to talk a lot about how that has shaped kind of what we're doing with the Fan Control Football League. And I want to start by talking about what it means to be a fan, just by a round of applause. Football fans in here? Okay. I see an outline waving back there. Okay. Gaming fans, how many of you guys play video games? All right. Good. I speak at sports conventions and crypto conventions, and a lot of times when I'm at the sports, nobody's ever heard of blockchain, and when I'm at a lot of the blockchain conventions, not a lot of sports fans, so I'm glad we have a good mix. I'm about to show a video that really describes kind of what it's like to be a fan now. And I know, especially in this part of the world, you're going to understand. We all remember the Super Bowl a couple years ago. Seahawks at the goal line. Let's tee this up.
You don't throw a pass when you have Marshawn Lynch.
What was that?
You do not throw a pass at the goal line when you have Marshawn Lynch. That's the game!
You guys want to see it one more time? All right, one more time. Can we do that one more time, guys? Just because I think especially people in the room, it's cathartic, right? We're still kind of grieving a little bit. Can we throw that up one more time, guys? It's so good. It's my favorite video of all time. And I think it really embodies what it's like to be a fan.
When you have Marshawn Lynch.
What was that?
You do not throw a pass at the goal line when you have Marshawn Lynch.
I've seen that video probably 200 times. And every time I laugh, because I think we've all been there. So it feels like to be a fan at some time. And we get asked all the time, and we're going to get into the mechanics of all this, but essentially, Chris teed it up, right? Literally fans choose every aspect of this league. And we get asked all the time, where did you guys come up with this? And the answer is, literally everybody who's ever been a fan of anything sports or otherwise has thought about this. They want their voice to be heard. So we actually did something about it. We in October 2015, we decided we wanted to have a proof of concept team where fans were really going to have a voice. So we bought a franchise in the Indoor Football League. So that's the IFL. It's kind of the premier indoor football league in this country, kind of taking the place of, some of you guys might have heard of the AFL, but it's arena football. And we went to their commissioner, who's young guy, progressive. He's 35. I think he looks like he's 14. And we're like, look, we're going to let fans vote on every aspect of this team. And he's like, great, sign me up. I'm in. So we actually literally went out. We looked at their geographic footprint and had to work with the league. We went out and negotiated contracts with 4 or 5 different stadiums across the country that fit with their league. And fans got to vote on where we played. And they voted on everything else too, right? So they voted on the team name. They voted on the logo. They voted on the mascot, our cheerleaders, our head coach, who actually started the game. Every bit of that fans chose. We ended up being in Salt Lake City. We were called the Screaming Eagles. So like when I walked up, there were a number of other suggestions. This is a true story. We had a press conference in Salt Lake, and I was kind of closing the press conference, and I made the mistake of teasing the internet. And it was right when that Bodie McBoatface thing was going on. Do you guys remember this? Yes. So Bodie McBoatface was going on, and I literally just said at this press conference an offhand remark. I said, look, if you name us Teamy McTeamface, we're going to be that team. Like, we will do that. So everybody laughed. I sat down, and by the end of the press conference, Teamy McTeamface was out to the lead with 87 votes. So we very closely named the Teamy McTeamfaces. Another one of my favorite was the Stormin' Mormons, which I think would have been a great one. We had a bunch of other rights, Spaghetti Monsters, a whole bunch of other ones. There was a last-second push to name it Screaming Eagles because there's a military base in the area, so we ended up being the Salt Lake Screaming Eagles. But they chose everything about the team: our logo, our color scheme, our mascot, our cheerleaders, our head coach, and probably most excitingly, they chose our plays. They chose our plays in real time. So we built an app that will let fans literally make that decision. You guys saw the video at the beginning. There are certain situations where you don't pass, right? And so we want fans to have that voice, and so we let them call plays. The algorithm would surface what plays we wanted to run based on down and distance. It looked a little bit like this. You call it on your mobile phone. And on February 16th, 2017, we made a history, the Screaming Eagles, by having the whole game called by fans. It was a tremendous experience. We were the very first fan-called touchdown. This is an unbelievable story. It was like 10,000 people in the Maverick Center Arena in Salt Lake, and it felt like all 10,000 of them ran to the field simultaneously. They didn't, but we literally, it was unscripted. We we called that and ran on the field as if we had something to do with it. I was sitting next to Norm Macdonald from Saturday Night Live. He also jumped the wall and was like, yeah, and he periscoped the whole thing. It was kind of a crazy moment, but it happened. It was incredible. It was an incredible day for us. And then we realized this is going to be big. We're going to talk a little bit about how big it was, but some things happened that day that we're like, hey, this is going to be a thing. And so we went out and touched base with Twitch. You guys are probably familiar with, you guys know Twitch? Yes? Okay. Just making sure some audiences aren't entirely sure. I think it's kind of the dawn of my obsolescence. I play a lot of video games. I don't watch others play video games, but I know the value proposition of Twitch, and their ethos is interactivity, right? So what better place for our home, for the home of the league, to be on Twitch? So we reached out with Twitch. It was when Twitch Plays Pokemon was kind of blowing up all over Twitch. And we pitched them and said, hey, this is Twitch Plays Football. We built a chat bot, and really from the chat, you could call plays. So literally right in chat, we had hundreds of thousands of people watching, calling plays. So many jokes about the graphics on this year's Madden are so good. But we did. And it wasn't just us. The media took notice, right? So New York Times wrote a big piece. We had a whole page, the Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, GQ embedded with us, which was something else. My parents are incredibly proud of my quote. I grew up very LDS, and my quote has like 3 F-bombs in it because I was so excited. It's a real good legacy to my parents. Thanks, Mom, Dad. But the whole media took notice and getting a lot of buzz around what we were doing. And it took off. So we had 1 million people watching over the course of just a couple games that we had on Twitch. 100 different countries called plays for this obscure minor league football team in Salt Lake City. 100, probably most of these places don't even know where Salt Lake City is. 100 different countries called plays, 20,000 plays were called each game. We finished with the 3rd ranked offense in the entire league, and on top of that, we had the Offensive Rookie of the Year and the Offensive Player of the Year in Verlon Reed, our quarterback. So this little experiment proved out. Fans were calling plays that worked for the team. It was incredibly exciting. As we started wrapping this up, the intention was always to have this be a league, right? Having one fan-controlled team in a league of traditionally run was never the vision of what we wanted to do, but the Wall Street Journal said, hey, they started to write about what was next, and that's what we're going to talk about now in our use of blockchain, was the fan-controlled football league, right? This is exactly where we're going. So I'm about to show you a video. It's a little teaser of what the league's going to be.
This is so dumb. I understand all these marketing people, they want to make it interactive for the fans. What you need to do is keep the fans at arm's distance. You give them a good product. You win the game. Let them have some good eats while they're sitting there stuffing their faces.
Wilbon and Kornheiser loved talking about both the Screaming Eagles and then the Fan Control Football League. We'll talk about them in a minute. And actually, believe it or not, that clip actually inspired our use of blockchain. So we'll get there. This is the first sports league built on the blockchain and designed for the digital fan. What does that mean? We thought about, like, if we were designing football right now, outside of having a voice, what other things would we be doing? So let's talk a little bit about it. We're reinventing it for the digital age. So that's 7-on-7. 7-on-7, 50-yard field, high-paced scoring. It's 8 teams with 18-man rosters. They're all in one location. We'll be announcing our casino partner very soon, but we are playing in Las Vegas at a major casino. So I'm sure there's a short list of people you guys imagine where we'll be. Games are an hour start to finish. 3.5 hours to watch a football game. While I love football, it's a tremendous investment. We want this to feel like you're playing a game of Madden. Right now, football is a lean-back experience. You hang out on the couch, you drink a beer, you watch it. We want that lean forward. I'm calling plays, I'm engaged. These are the guys that I chose to start this game, and I'm invested in their success. Just like that, like I said, like we're still using that app. You'll be able to call plays from your mobile device if you are watching on Twitch. From the linear device, from your mobile device, you actually be able to call plays on linear television, so we'll be announcing that pretty soon. But we still have our deal with Twitch. That's the home of the FCFL because really, again, that's core to their ethos, this interactivity. Twitch will be the home. And when you watch on Twitch, there'll be an interactive overlay. This is going to look and feel like you're watching a real-life game of Madden. Right on the field, you'll actually see the plays out in front of your team. So you'll see those options. It's an interactive video. It's incredible. I think it's the future of television, and we're going to be one of the first applications that's using that. If you're familiar with Overwatch, they've got an incredible kind of interactive overlay. Those same guys and gals are building ours. We're incredibly excited to launch with it. Playing in a facility, blah, blah, blah. It's a good size. This is kind of a concept of what it'll look like. And as you can imagine, true to what we were talking about, it is going to be immersive, interactive, all those things. So what does that mean? So the whole thing is being shot by drone. So to follow the action like you would be in Madden, right, that floating camera, the lead camera is going to be following from behind. It's going to be watching, like you're playing a game of Madden. A lot of the skill players will be wearing wearables, so we can do some really cool stuff, open sourcing that data. And let's go back. Sorry about that. Moving forward. Why blockchain? That's why we're here. We're going to get there really quickly. Let's go back one slide here. There it is. Team identities. That's the one other thing I want to touch on really quickly. So here we're fans of the Seahawks because we're here, right? Like probably our parents grew up watching the Seahawks. We are removing geography from that, and these are truly global teams. Remember, we had that 100 countries, different calling plays. So we needed to give each team an identity. So we've gotten aligned ourselves. We want like a Mark Cuban type minority owner in every one of these teams that's going to be loud, encouraging their fan base to engage with everybody else, to call people out. These are some people that may or may not be part of the league, and owners will be announcing very soon. But I can tell you one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time that might be on the screen right now will be our commissioner. Incredibly excited to start announcing those things formally. But each team will have its own distinct flavor and personality. Imagine being part of Snoop's team, or you being part of Richard Sherman's team. So these are the types of identities that we want people globally to be able to identify with. And why blockchain? That's why we're here. So I'm going to tell you a story that best illustrates that. The short answer is transparency and tokenization. Tokenization, this tokenizes very well. So we'll have the fan access network, the FAN token, which will be our utility token that we'll have a token generation event soon. And what that does is it adds voting power. So we believe in our application, you guys remember our proof of concept team, the Scream Eagles, everybody got a vote. Not every vote was created equal. Right? So if you've been engaged and calling plays from the beginning, you earned what we called Fan IQ. You'll have that also in the Fan Control Football League. The more you're engaged, the better your plays go. Like as you start accruing yards in the air and on the ground, not only will you see your name in the broadcast because you're one of the top fans, your Fan IQ is going to go up. So it weighted more. So as opposed to somebody who started, if you guys have been calling plays since the beginning of the season, and I start today, your vote could be 30, 40 times what mine is. Everybody still gets a vote. Tokenization, you'll be able to purchase. If you're incredibly committed to a particular decision, you can actually buy fan tokens that will add weight to your vote. So it's a way for you to participate. There'll be unique experiences and merch and all of those things. But most importantly, that represents another measure of voting power. It's your fan IQ and the fan tokens you hold. What we realized during the proof of concept team, I'm so glad we did this as opposed to jumping right into the league, because we learned some things. And this is where, at the time, we weren't thinking about blockchain, not even at all. About halfway through the season, we got a really interesting phone call. You guys know Greg Hardy? Clap if you heard that name, no? Okay, so we've got one person knows Greg. Long story short, former Dallas Cowboy, not an ideal citizen. I'll leave it at that. Literally kicked out of the NFL for some domestic violence issues, some drug charges, all those things. So not a Boy Scout. But we were getting all this national press, right? We were in GQ, we were in the New York Times. Greg Hardy's people called us and said, hey, yo, Patrick, I want to come play there. I want to rehab my image. And I have to tell this room, it would have immediately made us the best team in the entire league. Like, no joke. The guy, say what you will about his off the field issues, he is a beast on the field. It would have changed this league. And so our knee jerk, myself and the other founders were like, well, yeah, that'd be rad. But then really started thinking about it. Maybe he's not a good locker room guy. There's no way the community embraces this. As you might imagine, Salt Lake's a pretty conservative market. So we started thinking about it, and then look, we decided to let the fans vote. So fans voted. We turned that out. Like, again, if we're proving this out, if we're really letting fans be the GM, they have to have that say so fans can make the decision. So we put the vote out there, and I went to bed the night that it was due to be up, thinking we just got Greg Hardy. He was in the lead by 8, 10 points. Maybe not when I went to bed, but close. Long story short, there was a huge push on local radio there, on all of the sports broadcast, all the sports networks in town saying, don't let Greg Hardy be here. Do not let him be part of this community, blah, blah, blah. And he wasn't. 51-49 against, we didn't take Greg Hardy. So what that resulted in, great, we moved on. I was actually a little relieved. I don't know that would have been a great fit. But what we realized is we're putting the lives of our athletes in the hands of fans, athletes and coaches, and they need that transparency. So blockchain, again, people either way didn't believe this vote. They really thought what we were doing was for a publicity stunt, and it clearly was not. It was so well intended. People thought we were never actually going to take him. And so, again, blockchain was our solution to that. That provides that immutable ledger, that transparency, and we want the athletes and people that work with us to know that they're in the best possible hands and have those votes be real. League partners, CA is IMG, Twitch, New Alchemy, presenting sponsor. Peter Vesnes spoke yesterday. Love that man. He's helping with our token mechanics and all things that we're doing blockchain related. Football is just the beginning. I am running out of time. again, we're building a whole proprietary set of tools to tokenize sports and give fans a voice in every other sport, right? So if you can imagine it, we're looking at it. Next up is cricket, actually. IMG is taking us to India, and we're going to be doing this with cricket. Good opportunities. Our advisors, some great folks. This is our team. We've done some things. At the end of the day, you guys remember the very beginning where I showed you what that current fan experience was, what it's like to be a fan right now. I'm about to show you a video that I think encapsulates what it's like when fans have a vote. So I'm going to tell you a story quickly, and then we're going to watch the video and we'll call it a day. So I realized we were onto something when we had our athletes stay on the field after the game, right? So they'd stay on the field and meet the people in the stands, and that was something our team just did. So at the end of that first game, right, we opened and we let the stairs down. We had the guys came on the field and they went and they met. I know I'm not supposed to get off the stage. They met the players, and it was kind of fun just watching these kids interact with players. And I saw an 8-year-old boy run up to our wide receiver who'd caught a touchdown that game, and he said, "Hey, Devin, I called that play." So Devin kneeled down, looked at this kid, and said, "Hey, thanks for calling my play." And I guarantee you that guy talks about that as an adult. If that had happened to me when I was an 8-year-old, I would lose my mind. And I knew we were onto something special. It's not just for 8-year-olds, it's not just for kids. There is something truly magic about being involved at every level and calling plays. We'll watch this video. Guys, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure to be here. If you can tweet at me, I'm at P to the Dees. We're at FCFL.io. If you have questions, comments, concerns, all that stuff, I'll be here for a few minutes afterward, then jumping on a plane. But thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to talk to you more about the FANchise Football League.
Hey guys, we've got another one of our offensive coordinators up here. This is Ben. This is Noel. 4th down, big play. What are you calling here?
I'm going to pass. We still got 11 yards to go. I don't want to see him kick yet. I want to see him pass it in.
Kind of a rough start out there, but seems to be coming back now. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm actually pretty encouraged. Fans are doing pretty well to get a couple good drives in there. We're getting better.
All right, Ben and Noel, thanks very much. Enjoying the game in 117. Let's see this 4th down.
Screaming Eagles going for it here. Verlon Reed drops back, lots of pressure, looking deep into the end zone. Yes, touchdown!
What a great fan play call. What a great fan play call.
Derwin Lauderdale again with the touchdown.
Let's change what it means to be a fan. Please join the FANchise Football League. Thank you, guys.